I'm somehow very rarely labelled an Apple fanboy, but I think I might be one. Basically, I need your opinion. Hello and welcome back to Mark Ellis Reviews, and thank you for subscribing if you have, and if you haven't subscribed, the button is just down there. I feel like I've been pretty lucky on YouTube since I started this channel because unlike a lot of Apple focused tech channels, I don't get called an Apple fanboy that much. It happens, trust me, but with nowhere near the frequency that I see on other channels. So either I'm not attracting the same number of views as those channels, quite likely, or the art of calling people fanboys and fangirls is actually dying, unlikely. But that got me thinking, because I spent most of 2021 and quite a bit of 2022 lavishing praise on Apple. But I do point out their mistakes and the things that I don't like about them. Does that make me an Apple fanboy? Does it even matter? Should I be ashamed, apologetic? Should I broaden my horizons? Let's try and work this out. Right, if we look at the definition for the term fanboy or fangirl, I think there should be an all-encompassing definition personally. This is the Urban Dictionary's definition of fanboy. An extreme fan or follower of a particular medium or concept, whether it be sports, television, film directors, video games, the most common usage, etc. Known for a complete lack of objectivity in relation to their preferred focus. Usually argue with circular logic that they refuse to acknowledge. Arguments or debates with such are usually futile. Every flaw is spun into semi-virtues and everything else blown to comedic, complementary proportions. More worryingly, it goes on to say that fanboys are likely to use the term best ever. I use that all the time when referring to Apple products. Now obviously Urban Dictionary is a bit of a laugh, I really enjoy that website myself, but I've got a bit of a different take on the term fanboy/fangirl. You see, I think spinning a flaw into a semi-virtue is one of the best things you can do with products. It's why people drive and love cars that other people think are terrible. It's why you can't bring yourself to throw away that old battered pair of Nike trainers. It's why I've still got this dreadful pair of KRK headphones dangling from the set here. I use these all the time, even though they're falling to bits, because I love them. Flaws in products can actually be wonderful things, and it's loving those flaws that makes us human. So using circular logic to defend your stance on a product or your love for a product isn't a character flaw. Anyone who's spoken out about their love for an Apple product at some stage in their lives has been called an Apple fangirl or fanboy, me included. Despite my love for all things Apple, I am quite a big fan of third-party software, which is a superb segue into today's sponsor, and that is a company called MacPaw, who produce a piece of software called SetApp. And SetApp is absolutely fantastic. For just $9.99 a month, you get access to over 200 apps. You can even add your iOS devices into that package as well for a small additional fee. And the list of stuff it includes is incredible. So it has Clean My Mac X, which is fantastic, Ulysses, which is the thing I rely on every day to write the blogs for this business, iStat menus, Bartender, which is amazing, AdGuard, ClearVPN, Mars Edit, the list goes on and on. And the best thing is you can install it and use any of these apps as often as you want, with no ads, no extra fees, nothing. It's one of those things, when I first found SetApp, I could not quite believe it existed. It really is unbelievable, and there are so many awesome little tools in there, and some bigger tools as well, that you'll look through that list and I can guarantee you'll find several apps that will make a difference to your life or to your work. Now MacPaw have been very kind to sponsor this video, and as viewers of this video, you can check out SetApp for free. Just click the link in my description and go and give it a go. Trust me, SetApp is absolutely fantastic. It's personally changed the way that I look at buying software these days. Now, if I think back to my first encounter or proper encounter with Apple stuff and what pretty much sparked that love in their brand, it goes right back to when I was doing my A-levels at school. And back then I was doing media studies as one of my A-levels, no judgment please, and in the media studies lab, or whatever we called it, the little studio that we had, there were two Mac G3s. These were Power Macs, the little kind of translucent tower things, and I just immediately fell in love with them. And it wasn't just my first experience or proper experience of the Mac, it was actually my first experience of using a computer for video editing. I cannot for the life of me remember what that video editing software was. It wouldn't have been Final Cut Pro, so if you have any idea what that could have been, let me know in the comments. But they left an indelible mark. I loved those computers. I actually enjoyed going to school to use them. And I remember thinking, I need to own one of those one day. Now, it took quite a while for me to actually own my first Mac, in between trying out those G3s throughout my A-levels and getting my first Mac, which was a Power Mac G5, just out of interest. I got back into PCs. I built PCs, I fiddled around with Windows, and they just never really worked. I had trouble with them all the time. A lot of that was down to me building the PCs, hands up, but I just didn't have the same affection for those machines that I had for those Macs. And then, like I say, a few years later, I managed to finally get myself a Power Mac G5 and again, fell in love with it. After that, the iPhone came along, the iPad, the Apple Watch, and Apple just did, well, they always do this thing where they just keep reeling you in with better products, more interesting things, shinier things, things that look better. But I also know when they get things wrong. I hate the AirPods Max case. I hate the fact they're still using Lightning for some of the devices for charging. I don't understand why they put an M1 chip in the iPad Pro. I wish there was a cheaper, more accessible version of the Pro Display XDR. And if they cancel the iPhone mini this year, I'm going to be devastated. Not devastated, just really annoyed. But regardless of all that stuff, whenever I'm using an Apple device, I'm enjoying using it. I actually look forward to opening my MacBook, turning on my iPad. There's something about this stuff that I just really love using. Does that make me a fanboy? I'll let you be the judge of that. Just like everything in life, Apple isn't everyone's cup of tea. I completely appreciate that. I see it all the time in the comments, and more importantly, I respect those opinions. But that's why there's so many other brands vying for our attention, and also brands that are doing some really, really interesting things that Apple isn't doing. And if you're watching this and completely disagree with everything I've said about Apple, and you're already kind of priming your comment to tell me how wrong it is, then I like that, because what a boring world it would be if we all thought the same thing. So I think I'm a fanboy, actually, and I think if you think you're one and you've been branded one before, don't feel bad about it. Even better, if your love for something sparks up a debate about the merits of something else, then that is a really interesting conversation to have. It's why I started this channel. It's why I love to get involved in the comments, even if sometimes they do turn a bit sour. So hands up, are you an Apple fangirl or fanboy? Let me know in the comments. And equally, if you're not, let me know in the comments. Why not? Let's get talking and debating nicely. I enjoy this stuff. Equally, if you want to see me gush a little bit more about Apple and in particular the iPhone, keep watching for a link to a video that I made recently where I explain what the iPhone means to me. But until next time, thank you so much for watching this video and I'll catch you in the next one.